Steve Claggett versus Carlos Sanchez, the main event this weekend, 10-round fight. Let's get into it. Let's start with Steve the Dragon Claggett. 35 wins, 7 losses, 2 draws, 25 wins by way of knockout. I had Steve on my podcast a few months ago. If you want to check it out, I'll attach it below, or you can just type in unscripted with AkeemHaynes wherever you stream your podcast content. I had Steve on the podcast and I asked him a question about his last fight, particularly the camp leading up to the fight. I always like to know the backstory of the athlete, of the person, and just kind of see how they operate and what was working for them, and just ultimately all they had to overcome to get to the fight. So I asked him, I said, how was camp going up to the fight? And he said, man, it was tough for him. Right. And that was interesting to me to hear, because it did not look tough when he was inside the ring. He had a great fight in his last fight. He looked fantastic. I haven't spoken to Steve on regards to this upcoming camp, but from the videos that I've seen, man, the man looks ready to go. In his last fight, he fought Alberto Machado, a former champion in his own right. As soon as the fight started, man, Claggett brought the pressure. He got busy, right? Closing the gap and stuck to Machado like glue. But he didn't get too close to the point where he was smothering his own work. He got in close, found his range, and just went to work. I'm talking uppercuts, body shots, straight hands, hooks, jabs, every single shot that Claggett wanted to do, he was in range to do it, and that's exactly what he did. The second round went off and Claggett closed the gap quickly. Again, Machado tried to use his size and his reach to keep the fight in the center of the ring, but he was not throwing a whole lot. He couldn't get comfortable. Not that he wasn't trying to, but the fact that Claggett was not allowing him to get comfortable, wasn't giving him any space. Cleggett's pressure, the variety of punches, the headshots, the body shots, man, it was a lot for Machado to keep up with. The relentless pursuit of Claggett finally got to Machado, and he got dropped in the second round. Third round goes off, and it's really more of the same. Claggett just kept coming forward, continued hitting whatever was in range, and he dropped him with a wicked body shot. And at that point, you knew for sure that Machado did not have much left. I mean, they zoomed into the man's face, and you could see the man was breathing for air, trying to grasp for air because of those body shots that he was taking. He was taking a lot of punishment. He was exhausted, and I'm glad that the fight stopped the way it did and did not go any further. Impressive performance from Steve Claggett, and I would argue one of his best to date. If you were to ask me, he might say something different. That brings his win streak to 6 fights. So he's coming in with a lot of confidence, momentum, and belief, and he's going to be looking to continue his winning ways. Let's talk about his opponent, Carlos Sanchez. 24 wins, 1 loss, 19 wins by way of knockout. His first loss of his career came last year when he fought Pedro Campo, but he bounced back and won his next 2 fights. And Sanchez's last fight, when he fought Alexander Duran, in a fight that ended with a head clash that went to the cards, but in a fight that looked like Sanchez was having a hard time trying to figure out Duran. Sanchez is a patient guy. He's got 19 wins by way of knockout, but he's not a one-shot knockout type of guy. He's a guy that needs space and time to work in order to land the shots that can hurt his opponents, the hooks, the uppercuts, the straight hands. He needs space and time. Sanchez can box, and he's a good counter puncher. I wouldn't say he's a volume puncher, right? But a guy who focuses more on timing and accuracy. But against Duran, I thought Duran was controlling the pace of that fight. Duran was changing angles and giving different looks to make it tough for Sanchez. Sanchez didn't make much adjustments that fight. He was throwing looping wide shots, and Duran fought his fight and kept it at a mid-distance range and used his reach to his advantage. Now, the fight was stopped due to a head clash, but when his head clashed with Duran, Duran landed a clean body shot, and I think it hurt him, because Sanchez was bent over, right? But the head clash stopped the fight. Now, I'm not someone who's ever going to judge a fighter, right? I'm not inside of the ring. I'm not taking those punishes. I'm not taking those punches, but it did look like he could have continued the fight. I saw the cut. We saw the cut on Sanchez's face. I think we've seen deeper cuts on fighters' face that they continued their fight. But again, He felt like he couldn't continue, so we have to give him the grace in that position. I'm just saying we've seen worse cuts before, but when it went to the cards and when the judges came back and they gave Sanchez the win, I was like, wait 1 minute. Wait a minute. Duran won that fight. And I thought it was kind of clear, or at least was winning the fight to that point. But, you know, boxing, man, you never know how it's going to unfold until it unfolds. But if you go back and you watch that fight, even listening to the announcers and the commentators, they thought Duran won the fight too. But nonetheless, Sanchez got the win. So who wins? I thought Steve looked great in his last fight. To me, Sanchez did not. He seemed very uncomfortable and couldn't get any good work in, right? And if Claggett comes in and brings the pressure like he did in his last fight, Sanchez is going to get uncomfortable and it could be a long night for him. I'm going with Steve Claggett to win this fight. If he goes to the body early and consistently, it could be a mid to late stoppage because Duran, who isn't a big puncher, hurt Sanchez to the body. Sanchez only has one loss and it came from an eye injury. I don't believe he's been dropped before either, so I think there's a good chance of going the distance. So I think this goes the distance, but I have Steve Claggett winning this fight by decision. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. We got a membership section going on the channel. Don't always get to do all the suggested videos you guys suggest in the comment section below. But if you become a member, those suggested videos rise to the top and I will do my best to get those done for you that week. Or if you would like to become a member just to support the channel, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated as well. Shout out to everybody that continues to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate each of you. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this long, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.